Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Luckiest Peach podcast. I'm your host, Rachel, the Lucky Peach, also now known as Sound Daddy. Um, don't I listen? I'm aware that the last time I uploaded was November. Let's not talk about that. But anyways, the reason I'm here today, posting for the first time in like 9 months, is because I was lucky enough to attend an advanced screening. Um, we'll say it's because I'm press and not that because it was free for people in the area. Because normally, I do get these because of press, but this one I didn't, unfortunately. But whatever, I still got to see it early. Um, so, uh, before I introduce the movie, though, I'm gonna introduce my guest. Obviously, I haven't done this in a minute. But my guest today, shit, there is no room in this office.
No, there isn't.
Anyways, my guest today is Marisol.
Hi. Hi, my name is Marisol Penry. I am... Oh, shit. All right. So, Jor 1, Rachel 0. Sorry, where was I? I'm Marisol Penry. I am an actress and a writer, and currently I am working on a film that a friend of mine is writing and directing. It's called OMG WTF BBQ by our company Three Face Productions, and it will be premiering sometime before December, hopefully. Fingers crossed. Yeah, and that's my shitty little plug.
Oh my god, that just reminded me, because I don't upload anymore. I don't even know if I even talked about tissue on the podcast. But anyways, if I didn't, I honestly can't remember. Tissue's my short film. I don't know when it's gonna be publicly out because it's still in the festival circuit. So, but the trailer is up on the YouTube as well. So if you're listening to this on YouTube, it's on my YouTube channel. But anyways, first of all, shout out to Raul for letting us use his office, but also not shout out to Raul because like it's small. That's not a problem. The problem is there's like no comfort zone in here at all. So
also he picks on me every day, so no
Yeah.
Shout out to Ro.
Yeah. I guess technically the whole you can't get rid of him still stands because I talked about him, but he's not a guest today, so anyways, so yeah, we were lucky enough to see an advanced screening of Emma Seligman's sophomore film Bottoms, starring, why is the cast out of order on IMDb?
I don't know.
That's so weird. Anyways, starring, of course, Rachel Sennott as PJ and Ayo Edebiri as Josie. They play two... What the fuck? I'm gonna keep getting distracted the second I see somebody. Anyways, they play these two friends in high school. Let me get to the tagline. Two unpopular queer high school students start a fight club to have sex before graduation.
That's so real.
That is the tagline. Because this movie's not out yet, we are going to do our absolute best to avoid spoilers. If we do spoil something, if I feel like it, I will edit this audio and put some beeps. I don't know. But in the supporting cast, we have Nicholas Galitzine as Jeff, Kaya Gerber as Brittany. Brittany is the character that
Rachel Sennott's character
is crushing on, and Havana Rose Liu as Isabel, who is the character that Ayo Edebiri's character is crushing on. We also have Ruby Cruz as Hazel. I'm trying to go like in the order of like how these make sense to the movie. Miles Fowler as Tim. I don't think those names really matter.
I think that's like the main cast.
Yes, and then also
Mr.
stole
G.
the show, Marshawn Lynch as Mr. G. I'm gonna be real, I don't follow football, so I didn't know who Marshawn Lynch was, even though the name sounded familiar when we saw the movie.
He's from football?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's in the NFL.
Damn.
He's like, apparently he's a really big NFL player, but I don't follow football, so I was like, the name sounds familiar. and then that's why it sounded familiar. Like I probably heard it in passing from football people. But he's a really good actor, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he is. He's and a great improv guy. I was watching the little like bloopers that they had at the end of the movie, and he was just like every single one knocking him out of the park.
Yes. So, speaking of Marshawn Lynch, my really good friend who works for the Houston Cinema Arts Society. They are the organization that organizes and puts on the Houston Cinema Arts Festival that I've covered for 2 years in a row. I'm not gonna lie, that's another reason I wanted to post, is so that I can say that I'm still a critic, and so that I have some pull to be able to get a press accreditation again this year. So
Yes.
you gotta do what you gotta do. But yes, shout out to Rachel Acosta. Their Instagram handle is Rachel, not the same spelling as mine. I'm sorry. I love you, Rachel, but your name's spelled wrong. It's RACHAEL_Valentine on Instagram. So go follow them and shout out to them. Also shout out to HCast. Their Instagram is Cinema Society HDX. But so Rachel helped organize this along with a couple other organizations.
I was about to say one, but I don't think I can say the first word of that organization.
It's called Dykes the World. And now my phone won't load anything. And the other organization is the Big Queer Picture Show. And yeah, Instagram's not loading. Oh, there we go. Okay. So yeah, Dykes the World. Shout out to them as well. Their Instagram handle is Dykes the World. I'm gonna be real. I don't remember. Daffy.
Yes.
Yeah,
and Katya.
And Katya. So Daffy is the founder of Dykes the World, and our really good friend Katya is part of it as well. They were both really heavily involved. And the Big Queer Picture Show, that's also their Instagram handle on there. So they put it on here at the University of Houston, in part due to how did you see me just get distracted and like an Instagram photo?
What?
The way my brain just like short circuited, and I like, as I was closing, like going to lock my phone, I saw a photo on Instagram and liked it, and then I was like, wait, I'm doing something right now. Why am I on Instagram? Hi, welcome. Last time I announced that I have severe ADD. It has not gotten any better. It's only gotten worse. I've moved on to like physically showing it in public too. But anyways, so I lost my train of thought. Oh, because of Greg Abbott being a piece of shit.
Yes.
So that's part of the reason why they put it on as a free screening, and why they put it on at the University of Houston, because of, I don't remember the name of the law, but the law that's, basically cutting funding and moving to like entirely remove organizations for disenfranchised peoples on campuses.
So anyways, fuck Greg Abbott.
Yes. Listen, I'm not ableist. I myself have an invisible disability. But if I saw Greg Abbott in person, it's on site.
Yeah, for real.
He doesn't deserve any credit as a disabled man, because he himself
discriminates against disabled people.
He literally, and he calls disabled people freeloaders, but this man got hit by a tree and became a paraplegic out of the accident, and then sued, I guess, the state or somebody, got a fuck ton of money from those from those things that were in place so that disabled people can, get funding for themselves. And then the second he becomes governor, he gets rid of every single one of those things and then calls disabled people freeloaders. So, my dude, the call's coming from inside the house. Fuck you. You have a physical disability, yes, but you don't get to claim you're part of the disabled community at all.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, that's part of why the screening happened. Because obviously, if you haven't seen Emma Seligman's debut feature film Shiva Baby, which also stars Rachel Sennott,
Which HCast is also premiering tonight.
Yes, we are going to that. I have seen it before, and I wasn't honestly gonna go because I've seen it before, but I've never actually seen it in theater. And then after seeing Bottoms, I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'll go. It is a really fucking good movie. That one was distributed by Utopia, which I know I've mentioned on the podcast before. That is the like independent film distribution company owned by Robert Schwartzman, who is a Coppola, but he's using his family money for good because he likes, the point of his whole company is to like make sure that the independent creators have as much control and can, don't get screwed over by the contracts and funding and all of that, so that they can actually make money off of their projects.
Very slay of him.
Yes, although kind of fuck him for distributing Lena Dunham's film, which was not.
Which one was it?
Sharp Stick.
I have not seen this.
The thing that pissed me off when that got announced, not just the fact that, I'm a fan of Utopia, but they were calling it her feature film debut, and it's not.
Didn't she have like tiny furniture way back when?
Yeah. It's literally not. And I'm like, what is...
Wait, yeah, and then she had she had one on Amazon Prime too.
Yeah. Oh, Catherine Called Birdie.
Yeah, Catherine Called
Birdie.
Birdie.
She wrote that. But like, so like, I know it's the fact that she is like one of the biggest Nepo babies who uses her pole.
Yeah. To get other Nepo babies.
For evil. Her and Ben Platter at the same level. Basically, they are awful. So I know that's probably how that got to happen, that like they called it her feature film debut. Maybe she was like, I wasn't happy with that one, so it doesn't count. And then forced everyone to call it that. I'm sure that's what happened, because if they had said no, she would have called them a misogynist.
She calls everyone a misogynist.
Literally.
She's like, you don't like me? You must hate all women.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyways, regardless, Shiva Baby was distributed by Utopia, and Utopia has a Blu-ray distribution deal with a boutique label called Vinegar Syndrome. And so all that to say, they did a special edition Blu-ray release of Shiva Baby that is in my house. Also, did I even finish? Yes, I did. Okay, I did review Sick of Myself. I know I reviewed it, because that's the last time I uploaded the podcast.
We also saw that together. That was...
Yes, I did see it for a second time when it officially was released in Houston. And that was when I saw it with y'all. I know I mentioned this because obviously the last time I uploaded was regarding HCAF. That was when we saw it as like an advanced thing for the festival. That one was also distributed in the U.S. by Utopia. And the artwork for the Blu-ray by Vinegar Syndrome is fucking magical. But anyways, I digress. So Bottoms is her second film. My first thought about this is because like the first time I saw anything about this film, so like I don't watch trailers unless I'm like in a theater or like one pops up. Like I don't seek out trailers. So I saw a clip of the trailer on TikTok, and I saw like a shirt that Rachel Sennott was wearing, and I was like, I have that. Wait, I bought that shirt at Target. You're telling me like, obviously it's an independent lower budget film, but like, whenever you look at wardrobes in films, if you look up the shirt, it's like a $5,000 designer shirt, and then you find out the entire wardrobe is designer. Yeah. And so it was just like the smallest thing where I was like, so they got most of that wardrobe at Target at affordable stores?
Yeah, I'm wondering honestly if they didn't have the actors bring some of their own clothes, because I know
I think so, because that Atari shirt that Io Dabiri was wearing later in the movie, I'm pointing at it in real life on the screen, but like there's an Atari shirt that Io Dabiri wears in the film that was sold at Target like 4 years ago, and I used to have it.
Oh yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I do like it when they pull from actors' closets, because it lets their actual style like come through. And I feel like that was happening like really throughout this movie, and I think the costume designing was great. Like even between, what was it, Kaya Gerber and not Ruby Cruz, Havana Rose Liu.
Yeah.
Those two characters, visually, like, they could easily just like become inseparable and completely blend in together, but I liked how they had like completely different styles but still in the same aesthetic to, so we have the idea that they are kind of attached, and the way
Yeah.
Brittany's kind of attached to Isabel.
Yeah, they like use wardrobe to show the like cliques of the film, but the film is very unserious. It does not take
Yeah.
itself seriously. That's the first thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take itself seriously. It's meant to not be taken seriously. So it's like playing on the tropes of high school. All the football players play a huge. It's a big plot in the movie is the football players, because that's, you know,
Yeah.
every teen movie. They are wearing their uniforms the entire movie.
It's great.
Not once do you see a football player in normal. No, actually, once you do. One singular time you do. But the rest of the movie, they're all they're wearing their cleats too. Like in the sound design, you can hear their cleats on the tile. And when I noticed it, I was like, "That's not good for those shoes." But okay.
Yeah. And I mean, I like how there is like the constant question of how good they are too, because they keep. It's in the beginning they talk about like that rivalry with the ferrets, like the other school.
They say the
Huntington.
name of Huntington.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was Huntington.
On Instagram, I was gonna put a hashtag that was like, because they have, again, it's not taking itself seriously, and so like part of the movie is it's like they're leading up to the homecoming game against the Huntington Ferrets, and it's like a 50-year rivalry, so it's a big deal. You know, it's literally the teen movie trope of, you know, big school rivalry football game. And there's like posters throughout the movie that are like, "Fuck up the Ferrets."
Yeah, and it's and like, you know, they're not gonna do it because I feel like there was never in the movie like an allusion to the football team ever winning. It was always like the Huntington Ferrets beat us, and so it's kind of like, you know, they make such a big deal about like wearing their stuff in school, but it's like, how good are you?
We don't hear anything about any other games, which is like the best part about it, because it's like quite literally the exact thing you see in these types of movies.
Yes.
It's like literally
in real
calling
life.
them out. It's literally calling out teen movies for doing this shit, for not like even touching on that football team's history or like their track record. It's more just like, there's a football game this weekend. It's the homecoming game, and it's our rivalry.
And that, honestly, that does, like, even the point where there was like escalation in, you know, like violence in the rivalry, which I don't think is a huge spoiler.
No.
Because, like, I mean, they mentioned that in the beginning. Like, that's pretty realistic. Like, even to real life, like, the amount of, like, craziness and violence that you see at, like, these sports games is, like, yeah, that's realistic, especially coming from a small town in Texas,
When I was in high school, I know they kept trying. There was another high school that was, like, maybe, like, 5 miles away. And so they kept trying to, like, they did it every time we played that team. They would be like, rivalry, it's us against them. And nobody actually cared. So I'll at least say in suburbia, in the Houston area, it does not exist anymore. But like, they definitely tried, but nobody really cared.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I mean, like, there were some people who cared, but they were like the weird, like, super into sports kids. Like, people did not like those people.
Yeah. But yeah, also playing into that trope and making fun of it is how, like, in all those movies, it's always like the star quarterback. And they play into that and make fun of it so hard. It's to the point that, like, when you see scenes of them practicing, first of all, that's the character that Nicholas Gallatin plays, Jeff. There's scenes where it shows them practicing, and it's literally him just, like, kind of running, like, jogging, and then, like, kind of, like, barely bumping into the other people, you know, other players at the practice, and they just fall over because, like, that's the trope in these movies, is that it's the quarterback. They're untouchable. They're so good. Yeah. And so they play into it so hard that the other players just, like, melt the touch. Like,
they're just like, oh, he's so good.
Like, they're not even practicing football.
Yeah.
Yeah, the very first...
And we never see them practice.
No.
Except for that one scene where he, like, takes the crutches and he just, like, tosses them off.
Yeah. Yeah, so, like, not the opening scene, but, like, the second opening, still an opening scene, takes place at, like, a fair carnival, and that's when PJ and Josie are like, yeah, let's go, let's talk to them. And they're like, we never go to this. And then like PJ's like, yeah, but like we gotta get some cooch. And so they do end up going, and Havana Rose Liu's character Isabel is, you know, like the popular girl in high school, so obviously her boyfriend is Jeff.
Yeah.
And she gets annoyed with him and is like walking away, and PJ and Josie are like in their car because they're like already tired of being there and they're gonna leave, but they see them in the parking lot like arguing, and then she's like, so Josie's like, Isabel, you want to ride? So she gets in the car, and then like Jeff just stands in front of the car.
That was kind of a scary moment.
It
like,
was.
Yeah.
But to just show how ridiculous and how unserious this movie is and how literal it is with the cliches, they're like, Josie's driving and she's like, all right, I guess I'm just gonna drive. And she like barely moves forward, doesn't like the hood of the car kisses his knee. It doesn't, it's like it's not even a tap. It's just like it's like a touch.
I don't think it even really touched it all that much.
No.
It was just like maybe like one molecule touched a molecule of the car.
And he just folds and is like injured and is like, ugh. And all the other players are like, you're not going to get away with this. You hurt Jones.
I love how he's like holding, like, what is it? The one who's Miles Fowler, Tim. Tim is like his best friend, and he's like cradling him like in Lord of the Rings when like Sam is cradling Mr.
And then everyone's
Frodo.
around him, and then it, like if we go to like a bird's eye view basically, and he looks up into the camera and is like, ah.
That was so good. Oh, that was a fantastic moment.
But like that's how literal these cliches are.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire movie, and
it's beautiful.
It's also like you have to think about it a little bit. It took me until like near the end of the movie to realize that it was also kind of just making fun of these things, but in a gender swapped way, because it's like usually you have like movies like Sex Drive or like American Pie where it's like the male characters are like, oh, we gotta get laid before we leave school or whatever, and then like God damn it, I was thinking of something else and then I forgot. Oh, the Superbad, but also like the whole football players always wearing their uniforms to me was like a swapped
cheerleaders
making
always
fun of cheerleaders in these movies who are always in their cheerleading uniform, which also isn't a thing.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say like if they would get dress coded consistently immediately. But yeah, no, I love that. I love how gender swapped it is.
It kind of pulls the like 21 Jump Street versus 22 Jump Street swap, how like in 21 Jump Street it plays the literal tropes of how these things go, and then in 22 Jump Street it flips.
Yeah. This movie was so good.
It was so it has like, this is the first time in a minute where like the music production editing part of it, not the score, but like the music production of it hits so hard.
It does.
And like fit the scenes so perfectly. The last movie that I saw that like really hit hard in that way that I can think of is Titan. But it's literally some of the best use of songs that perfectly fit these moments, but also like are still playing in that cliche. Literally every single thing that happens in this movie is playing into these jokes.
Yeah.
The best use of Total Eclipse of the Heart I've ever heard. Best use of Complicated that I've ever heard.
Yes.
There were two people who did music. One of them was Charlie XCX was in charge of the music, and then there was somebody else.
Yeah, there was someone else who normally works with her.
But, so, yeah, Charlie XCX has a future in film music.
She does.
Arrangement. Because it's, oh my god. Fucking pop-ups. Anyways, because, like, it the only way I can describe it is it's definitely younger millennials and elder Gen Z making a movie.
Yeah.
A teen movie making fun of everything else. It's the most like our generation humor and way of approaching humor
It is.
of these things and this kind of satire that I have ever seen, but it's not cringy. Like Booksmart is good. It's a good movie, but I think the generational gap with the director quite literally being Gen X, I believe.
Yeah, I think
she's either young Gen. I think she's Gen X. Yeah, I think that's where these movies kind of struggle, and that's why they've gotten a bad rap in the last decade, because it's like they're made by people who are older that are no doubt just trying to, you know, capitalize off of the younger generation's style of humor, but because they don't fully understand it and they're not immersed in it like we are, it doesn't hit the same.
Yeah, and I feel like one thing too is that this movie goes like way like very political and very dark with the humor
without being
like racist or prejudiced at all.
It's quite literally us.
Yeah.
It's quite literally our generation. Except we do take it too far sometimes. I'm not even gonna fucking lie.
No, I mean,
we're not gonna talk about the Ocean Gate jokes.
Yeah. Okay, some of those were funny though.
They were though.
Yeah, I was watching those. I was like, I'm going to hell for laughing at this.
When you take the first generation that is the first generation to solely grow up with internet, not know what the world was like before internet, and then subject them to a historical event at least once a year, this is what you get.
Yeah, and then particularly, I think one of the biggest things, like I know 9/11 jokes are like really big right now, and I feel like that's because Gen Z is like the generation that has had...
That was our first thing.
Yeah, and they have had it shoved down our throats. Like, I was born in 2000. It happened when, like, I was a baby, and it has been, like, shoved down my throat since day one.
Yeah. I was born in 98, so I don't remember it either because I wasn't, conscious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's, like, shoved down our throat, so it's not like... We definitely can take it seriously. We understand the importance and impact of it. But in terms of, like, the whole, like, never forget thing, it's like, you didn't let us and you traumatized us every single year by showing us it. What did you expect?
Yeah. There's, I think, the desensitization. I can say big words. Thank you.
Congratulations.
I feel like this generation as a whole really lended itself well to the movie by the fact that there was like all this crazy shit happening and nobody even reacted to it, and like you could say, oh, that's part of the satire, but honestly I feel like that was the most realistic part of the film, the fact that like these crazy events were happening and everyone was just treating it like it was normal.
Deadpan. We're just like, okay.
Yeah. At this point it's just, we've had so much, 2 economic crises, a huge pandemic, just all this shit that it kind of just doesn't faze anyone anymore.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
No, it's my own brain.
Also, while we're in a pause here, I just want to say...
I can't say that line because it's a spoiler.
Yeah, but I saw that. I love that it's the first one that shows up in quotes, and it's just...
It's the only one there?
I don't know. I love that. Because that's literally, like, I saw the trailer.
It's the only quote on the page!
Damn, whoever edited this page, you are so real.
I was gonna like it as helpful, and then I remembered I'm not logged in, and I don't want to deal with that.
But yeah, because that's like the only one that I remembered from the trailer. Because I did unfortunately watch the trailer. Yeah, it's in the trailer.
Oh, okay.
I unfortunately watched it, which was a bad idea. So without
context, the line from Jeff is, "Shut up, nerd, I fucked your mom."
Yeah. Which is, I love how that, like...
The first review on here is a negative review.
Well, yeah.
Anyways, continue. Sorry. We'll come back to that.
Gonna say, it was nice to actually see... Like, because when you talk about, Gen Z not being desensitized to stuff and, like, having a callous sense of humor, usually that shows up in, like, male-dominated circles. But I like here that it's, like, women don't really get to be like crude or imperfect all that much in movies, especially in stuff like this.
Yeah.
You know, because they always go like the girl power route, like, oh, she's so smart, like you have all these redeeming qualities, and like in the movie it's like, no, like
They're pieces of shit.
yeah, they're pieces of shit. They literally, like, one of the main things that they're continually harped on is like they're untalented, and it's so nice to see a girl failure on screen, because so often in life you're just like, yeah, I am a girl failure, and all I see on screen are girl bosses. How is this gonna work?
It's book smart. It's literally making fun of book smart,
Which
I'm okay with. It was a good movie. I'll say that.
I have
But
not
I
seen
don't think
Booksmart.
she's a good director. I don't think.
Oh yeah, did you hear about Don't Worry Darling? Apparently she
Everyone-
like
Oh, God.
disappeared from set a lot.
Yeah, there was a whole thing. I did hear from somebody who worked on the set of Oppenheimer that like Florence is very, obviously she's like one of the coolest people in the world, but like she would, like sit and chat with like crew a lot, and she apparently told him a lot of tea. He didn't reveal any of it though.
Damn.
He was like one of the very few people to work on both Oppenheimer and Barbie too.
Mm.
The only thing I remember him saying about Barbie is that Margot Robbie is literally, what we know, the greatest person on the planet.
I love that he has all that gossip now, so he can just hold it and then wait for the gossip magazines to come after him
Yeah.
and sell it to the tabloids. That's
Hopefully
very smart.
he doesn't send it to Demois, because apparently fuck Demois, what I learned recently. They're a piece of shit.
Yeah, I saw them on Z-Way, and it was an interesting interview.
Mm-hmm.
They were just like kind of like Z-Way would just ask them like direct questions, and they would just kind of like dance around it and not say anything.
Yeah, there is a TikToker.
Mhm.
Her name's like Kyle Marissa Roth or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she reads a lot of blind items on TikTok, and literally this is what like showed me that the person running Demois is a piece of shit. Demois would like block them and report them, and basically like, do you know about the DIY gate?
No,
Where it's like,
More
one
TikTok tea.
DIY
I like
person
this.
accused one of the other DIY people on TikTok of stealing from them, when the whole purpose of what they weren't taking credit for them. They were, when they made that, a similar thing because they were inspired by the person who posted it.
Uh-huh.
And like the DIY community on TikTok is very respectful of what someone creates, so they'll like usually tag the creator.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what happened. And like this girl just literally goes, "You stole everything from me." And so, everyone turned on her because it's like, what?
What?
No, she didn't. So basically, that's what Zumois did to this creator.
Oh, they like accused him of like stealing all their shit. And
Yeah, and like started a whole rift, and I'm like, well, fuck you, okay.
yeah.
But yeah, God damn it, I was thinking of something too. Oh, back to whole like, having somebody from your generation make the movie hitting
Mhm.
different. The only instance I can really think of in in recent years, where somebody from from a different generation with entirely different experiences
Mm-hmm.
made a coming of age film that like actually was accurate and hit different is 8th Grade. But I think that's in part to the fact that 8th Grade has never changed.
Yeah.
The only thing that changed was like the technology bit, which Bo Burnham did still get right. Like it's
Mhm.
still very accurate to the time period, but the 8th Grade activities and cringe of it never changed. So it's like a universal experience, and then just updated for the current era.
Yeah, and I think Bo Burnham also, he does have like kind of a younger fan base.
Yeah.
So he probably, and I'm sure he has to be probably chronically online. So that probably, I was gonna say, that's probably one of the things that helped the most with that. And that would make sense why he would be so, I don't know where I was going with this.
Aware, I guess. He's very self-aware.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what was the other thing I was going to say about Bottoms? Oh, it literally takes all of these like the absurdity and aggressiveness to the next level.
Yeah.
To the point that after the movie I compared a certain scene to the Battle of the Bastards and said it was at the same level of hype.
It was.
The Battle of Bastards is unmatched in terms of technicality because, like, holy shit, it was a lot of fucking extras and a lot of people and a lot of literal horses, and, you know, it was dark, so, like, the lighting, like, everything about that episode of Game of Thrones hit different. But in terms of hype, there's a scene in Bottoms that literally matched Battle of the Bastards for me.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. There was another comparison I made on my Letterboxd review. Give me a second.
A lot of this.
Gladiator. I also compared Bottoms to Gladiator.
A lot of it reminded me of, like, American Psycho, too.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is... Patrick Bateman wishes he could be like this.
Oh, my God. But, to some fun facts, though, kind of, like, also, you know, obviously, like, camaraderie is a really important part in making a film. Like, that's honestly part of why Barbie came out so well, is because Greta Gerwig was like, y'all need to spend time together.
Yeah.
And so they all got very close. But, like, I knew Emma Seligman and Rachel Sennott were close. I knew they went to NYU together. But what I did not know is that Rachel Sennott was also roommates with Iowa Dabiri at NYU. So all three of them went to college together. Which explains Shiva Baby, because Shiva Baby was originally like a short film that they made in college and then adapted into a feature. So that explains the closeness of them, and also why it hits different, because they know each other probably, like, as well as, like, me and Raul know each other.
Yeah, probably really well. I'm sorry. I just saw in the review, it said, I always say, or I always talk about...
Let's read this review.
I always talk about how movies need to bring back ugly actors, but this goes too far, like...
Dude, I will say, I love, like, sometimes a typecast can be, like, you know, draining, and it, like, it just is, like, you get tired of it, but I think because Rachel Sennott is so self-aware and also so confident, she plays the, like, toxic piece of shit girl so well.
She does.
Because she does it in Shiva Baby, she does it in Bottoms, and she also did it in Bodies so freaking well.
I haven't seen any of those, but I've seen clips of her in The Idol, and, like, she's more the voice of reason, but she's just like, yeah, she is the voice of reason, but she's kind of, like, bitchy about it. She's like, guys, are you fucking dumb? This is what's going on. Are you all idiots? And it's so good.
I love it. I love her way of acting. But yeah, we're gonna read this 1-star review on IMDb. For context, IMDb functions differently than Letterboxd. It does 1 through 10 stars instead of 5. So this is a scathing review. The title is Miserable. And it says, please tell me this isn't how young adults talk and act. I'm sorry. Yes, that's exactly how we do. They can't be this unbearably necrotic. That word does not mean what you think it means. You used necrotic wrong. I think
you meant neurotic.
I think so too, because
necrotic, that means
you're
like
talking
deadly.
About that's death. That's when you, like, learn a word and you try to fit it into a sentence to see if you used it right. Like, I do that sometimes, where, like, I have a word and I want to use it, but I don't know what it means, and even when I Google it, I'm like, but how does that fit into a sentence? And I'll slip it into one, and if the people don't react, I'm like, okay, yes. But you know. Okay, so it says, I always talk about how movies need to bring back ugly actors, but this goes too far. Shut the fuck up.
Literally.
They're actually beautiful.
Yeah, Iowa Dabiri and Rachel Sennott are fucking hot. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Is it because Rachel Sennott is perfectly confident and okay with making down? Make up? Press down?
What is it? Hang on. It's Getting Ugly, I think.
Yeah, like, she's perfectly okay with that. Like, okay. This movie tries out the surreal tone that doesn't land. The tone is all over the place. Emma Seligman, in parentheses, it says early life checks out. That is the most bullshit phrasing I've ever heard to refer to somebody as young. They're trying to say that she's younger by saying early life.
Early life? But what is even the checks out? Like, are they saying that she's checked out and that she's like...
That she's young, so it's like, oh, it's fitting.
Oh, okay.
That is...
You need a comma there, buddy.
This is a straight man. So it says, Emma Seligman doesn't have the talent to make anything above a BuzzFeed sketch. That is so wrong. BuzzFeed sketches are the shit that's happening on TikTok now, basically.
Yeah, BuzzFeed. Yeah, BuzzFeed is ass. Don't compare that to this movie. BuzzFeed is safe. They could never make something like this.
There's something very phony about all this. That's the point. It's an extreme affectation of otherness. I think you just opened a dictionary.
Yeah.
What? I don't think otherness is a word, but all right. I mean, I make up words too.
Otherness is a word, though.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it is.
What is affectation? It was like affect?
Affectation, it's this, an aura, an air.
Oh.
It's like, it's an extreme aura of otherness.
Okay, so this guy knows big words.
Yeah,
good
basically,
for you.
he's trying to say this movie is not like the other girls.
Okay, he's trying to sound smart.
Yeah.
Grow up, act normal, stop pretending, stop hating yourself.
I mean, that's kind of real.
My dude, yes, that's true, but like, my dude, wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
That is part of growing up. That is what this movie is making fun of.
And
because
also,
that is part of every coming of age teen story.
Yeah, and also growing up and acting normal is not leaving terrible reviews on IMDb.
There also is no such thing as normal.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it continues into another paragraph. This film has to be in this surreal world because the world in their head is fake.
Wow,
that's the
definition. Oh my god.
You're very clearly of a different generation.
Yeah.
They need to be victims, but no one really cares.
Oh
god. Okay. Howard Stern. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Of course, this guy
Howard Stern nailed it years ago. If you are going to do something about lesbians, make sure they are hot lesbians. The homophobia.
I don't even know what to say to that.
This dude seems like the dude to like go up to a woman that says she's bisexual and be like, "So you want to have a threesome?"
Yeah.
That's what this sounds like. You associate sexual identity with sex solely.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, and then the last sentence is nobody is interested in two homely looking broads going at it.
Yeah, wow.
Please touch some grass.
Yeah, the use of
Go
it's so
outside and
funny.
touch some
He's
grass.
talking about growing up and acting normal, writing a 2-paragraph review on IMDb, dunking on a movie as a straight man that is very clearly meant for like younger women of a completely different generation. It's not growing up and acting normal.
And that's the whole reason generation is a thing that we recognize, is because the world that this dude grew up in is entirely different from the world that we grew up in, and the world that Gen Alpha is growing up in is entirely different from what we grew up in.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason for generation, because there's these gaps. There's another review. It has spoilers, so I will try to phase those out. But it's a 10 out of 10 star review.
Yeah.
And the title is a hilarious and subversive teen sex comedy. The film is a riotous and raunchy comedy that subverts the genre conventions of teen movies. Yes. It features sharp dialogue, outrageous situations, and memorable characters such as Mr. G, Marshawn Lynch, the school's gym teacher who becomes their unlikely mentor, Brittany, played by Kaya Gerber, the head cheerleader who has a secret crush on Josie, and Jeff, Nicholas Galitzine.
Wait, Brittany doesn't have a...
Yeah,
They got it wrong.
They got it wrong. Anyways, and then Jeff, the school's jock who has a secret... Okay.
No.
The film, that also is not true. Okay.
Yeah.
The film also has a lot of heart and depth as it explores themes such as identity, sexuality, friendship, and empowerment. The film is a showcase for the talents of Seligman and Sanat, who previously collaborated on the acclaimed 2020 film Shiva Baby. Seligman directs the film with confidence and flair, creating a vibrant and energetic visual style that matches the tone of the story. Sanat co-writes the film with Seligman, infusing it with wit and humor that reflects their own experiences as queer people. Emma Seligman is non-binary. Queer people. Sanat also delivers a hilarious and nuanced performance as PJ, a cynical and sarcastic girl who struggles with her self-esteem and sexuality. Edibiri is equally impressive as Josie, a sweet and optimistic girl who dreams of becoming a singer and finding love.
She wants to be a
Bottoms.
singer?
I don't think they ever even. No, I don't think that was a thing in the movie. Do you think? Okay, so this review is from like mid-July. Do you think they maybe saw like an early cut?
Yeah, they might have seen like
Like a
an
test
early
screening?
cut. Yeah, or perhaps they are making this up.
Yeah, like misremembering it.
Yeah.
Anyways, Bottoms is a film that will make you laugh out loud, cringe in sympathy, and cheer in triumph, which is facts. Everyone clapped every time somebody kissed.
Yeah.
It is a refreshing and original take on the teen sex comedy genre that celebrates diversity and queerness. It is no wonder that it received rave reviews and a nomination for the Grand Jury Prize at the 2023 South by Southwest Film Festival. Oh yeah, that I remember that. I was gonna watch it at South by Southwest, but it was only available in person, and I don't live in Utah.
South by Southwest is in Utah? I thought it was in Austin.
You're right. Why was I thinking of Sundance? I don't pay attention to South by Southwest at all, so actually I wouldn't know, but I could have sworn it also. No, I'm thinking of a different movie that was at Sundance. I don't know. I don't fuck with South by Southwest, to be honest, because I don't fuck with Austin. Yeah. This review kind of had a little bit of word vomit.
Yeah.
What sentence did I just read that? Oh, the PJ struggling with her self-esteem and sexuality. That hit different because like that was the kind of thing of like somebody who doesn't realize that they're not self-aware of how low their self-esteem is.
Yeah.
So they're a piece of shit and, you know, giving everyone else a hard time and just projecting their insecurities on other people, which is the most real high school thing on the planet.
No, I did that so bad my senior year.
Me too, it's okay. We all were toxic teenagers.
Yeah, and I have to say, since they're talking about the performances, I do think, you know, there's like that big third act breakup that happens in every comedy. I don't think that's a spoiler.
No.
And usually, like, the acting in those is always like, oh, we were good, but we're sad now. And I think because Io DeBeery and Rachel Sennett both have, like, you know, backgrounds in more dramatic stuff.
Yeah.
I think they really make it work, like, so well. Like, even though there's, like, that layer of, like, funny still over it, like, it's still not taking it too seriously. I think they did so well with that. Like, I genuinely, like, felt, like, really, really upset.
Yeah, like, they it's unserious, but it's, like, it's still tapping into that, like, seriousness and reality of, like fighting with your best friend.
Yeah, and, like, maybe kind of that fear, too, of, like, completely losing them.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? I don't know. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars.
Me too.
On Letterboxd. God damn it. There was another movie I thought about, too, that I remembered comparing it to, and then I forgot. Anyways. I don't know. But, shit. Now my brain is just complete mush.
Well, after seeing Bottoms, I am certainly much more excited for Shiva Baby tonight.
It's so good. It's a different tone entirely, but like it's so good.
Yeah.
What we did learn from the Q&A that our friend Rachel did with Emma Seligman is that this film took 6 years to make. As well as which means they probably had the idea for it in college too.
Yeah.
But also that after Bottoms, they are going to like kind of take a little break, and we don't know when the next thing is coming. And that's, you know, I hope you, to Emma Seligman, if you're listening to this, I hope you become well rested and get the break that you need, that you deserve, because you deserve it.
Take care of yourself, dearest.
And we look forward to your next banger.
Yeah. I am so hopeful for you as a filmmaker.
Me too. I don't know. Do you have any final thoughts?
Honestly, like, I was very close to actually writing a very serious review of Bottoms on Letterboxd, because I was just, like, very impacted by it at the end, because, like, I wanted to say something funny, but I was like, no, this just tapped in. I mean, I eventually did because I'm lazy, but
Yeah.
it just tapped into something, like, very deep inside me that kind of, like, I was definitely kind of a loser in high school, and
Me too.
yes, high five. I felt so seen by the movie, and I think Emma Seligman really understands, hearing that, like, yeah, she probably wrote it while she was in college, and then, like, just coming out of high school. That makes so much sense because it was so real. Even though it was surreal, it was so real to the high school experience that I think a lot of Gen Z people are feeling, pre-pandemic. And yeah, it was just nice to see that, like, happy endings can happen for losers like that, and that it does get better.
Yeah. You saying that reminded me of like my senior year of high school, where like I had friends throughout high school, but I had shitty friends that
Same.
took advantage of me and treated me like shit. So I don't call them friends. So technically, I spent most of high school with no friends.
Yeah.
And I had one real friend, Avery, who I'm still besties with. And like senior year, we just like clung together. And like now that you mention it, I'm like, yeah, that's so real when you're a loser in high school and you have one real friend and you just like don't leave each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, shout out Avery, I love you.
And shout out to my girl Emily. She was mine, but we almost did kind of break up our senior year because we had a really toxic friend group.
Oh.
But like we still clung on to each other and we survived that.
Yeah, I also wrote a long review on Letterboxd though, which if you follow my Letterboxd, you know how if a movie like actually impacted me in some way. If I write a long review, there's also movies that really impact me that I write short reviews of.
Mm-hmm.
It's more just my phrasing, but if it's something that like made my mind real, it'll be a long review. Either if it affected me positively or negatively, because the majority of movies that I leave paragraph reviews of on Letterboxd are bad reviews. So if it's something that really gets me heated, then I'll leave a long ass review. But this was one of the ones that like really hit different in a positive way that I left a long ass review for.
Mm-hmm. Also my Letterboxd is Shakespeare Slut.
Yes.
Follow me on Letterboxd.
Where can the people find you?
You can find me also on Instagram, Mari the Tiny Bitch, Mari, and then obviously the Tiny Bitch. There's also an Instagram for Three Face Film.
Yes.
Let me see Let me check and see actually what it is, because we tried Three Face Productions on like Twitter, but that was already taken. I don't even know if we have a Twitter yet.
It's just Three Face Film.
Okay,
like
it is
spelled out.
Alrighty, slay.
I will be working on that short.
Yes, I will too. We're both very excited for that. So, Mari the Tiny Bitch and Three Face Film on Instagram, and Threads. But nobody uses Threads, so.
Yeah. So yeah, things have changed, I'm not gonna lie. You can find me everywhere except Instagram at Lucky Peach, LVCKY Peach. My Instagram handle now is Sound Daddy. Sound _ DADDIE. That was chosen in part by a director I worked with, Chris Rodriguez. If you're listening, shout out. Thank you. I love you. Yeah, we were talking about how like I was like, damn, I need my like Instagram handle to like match my profession like everyone else in the film industry, but I'm not good at names, and I also don't want to do anything basic. And then I have a hat that says Daddy. I'm actually wearing it right now. Partially because we're going to see Shiva Baby. That's a joke for later. You'll understand later.
I will.
But yeah, I wore the Daddy hat on set, and it was a hoot.
I love that.
So that's where that joke came from.
Where did you get
that's
it?
my answer. Spencer's.
That makes sense.
They also have a hat that says porn director.
I need that.
I've been like itching to buy it for Raoul for the longest time. Maybe for Christmas. But yeah, you can find me on Instagram at sound_daddy and everywhere else at Lucky Peach. Same as always. Tissue coming soon. I think that's about it. I don't know. Manifest that I get a job soon. Please.
I'm manifesting this for you.
I did graduate recently and I am now unemployed. But anyways, yeah, thank you, Marisol, for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's been
Of
fun.
course. Thank you for joining the 5th return of this podcast. And thank you guys for listening. I will see y'all whenever I see y'all next. Thank you.
After Shiva Baby, yes.
Yeah, probably. Maybe. Yeah, maybe we'll return. Anyways, all right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.